What's up everyone, welcome to a new episode of Tester Tech. This is the first video I post after my FOSDEM talk, and this actually will be the same clip that I showed on FOSDEM with an alternate intro, obviously. So I'm working on a new follow-up video. The new follow-up video will be about Playwright, so keep your eyes on that one. I will post it as soon as it's finished. This is the FOSDEM clip. I hope you enjoy it, and let's play that clip. Hello FOSDEM, I hope you're having a great time. Even though it's a virtual event, I hope you're still enjoying the talks. And yeah, let's hope that next year it will be different. So I'm the last talk of this track at the Saturday, and I hope you still have energy to hear it. I hope to make it interesting for you. I will show you 5 test automation tools in 45 minutes. So I will show you a working demo of each of these tools. So you might be wondering why 5 and why these 5? Firstly, it's just a grasp of the open source space and some very well-known open source tools that I also see at large companies. And why 5 is because of the time constraints. I was first planning to do 10, but eventually I came into a time constraint. I'll promise you that I'll make it up to you, but more on that later in this talk. So before we dive in, let me first introduce myself. Who am I? En de Graaf is also my handle on some various social media. I've been a consultant since 2005 and have experience in various roles like test automation architect, test automation coach, and test automation engineer. I'm also trainer, mentor, and some people call me an inspirator. Also automation for testing. I do coaching in test automation, and I help teams setting up test automation. And I know from experience it can be still quite hard to do it successfully. So that really drives me to help teams in trying to achieve some kind of success with test automation. As a hobby, I have created a YouTube channel a couple of years back. That's also my way of giving back to the open source community. So if you're interested in automation and testing and open source, be sure to check it out. One of the famous quotes that I really love is the one from Deming, and that's cease dependence on inspection to achieve quality, eliminate the need for inspection on a mass by building quality into the product in the first place. So for me, it's really what drives me to build high quality software solutions and help teams in setting it up, where automation plays a big role. It's like this mindset of building the right quality into the product. So before we dive into all these tools, let's first talk about some constraints for this talk. The tools must be open source. The tool is released and free to use within a given licensing model, so the source code is available for review or modification. It runs cross-platform, run on Mac, Windows and Linux, and I will demo it on a recent Fedora Linux. Must be installable by me at least. If I can't even install it, then others will probably struggle as well. I will follow the provided documentation to my best of abilities, and it will be installed locally on the machine, not one-click cloud solution. And if you look at the test automation, the setup phases, a high-level picture. So if you look at all these, then my focus for this talk will be the blue area here. Disclaimer before we really begin, there's no such thing as a silver bullet for test automation. Opinions are my own, and scoring is done for the storyline and by no means complete. Take it with a huge bag of salt. So a huge shout out to all the open source developers of these projects. I know you put your heart and soul into making these cool and awesome projects. So I hope that you can see this as constructive feedback if there's any, and just keep up the good work. And let me know if I make mistakes. I'm totally also a human being and can make mistakes. Let's go into the scoring card. That's where I put the score. It's not a real score, of course, not an exam, but just to give you a storyline for this presentation. So the ease of installation, run examples provided, authoring of test cases if you make changes, create a new one, stuff like that. Speed of execution, logging, debugging, dashboarding, reporting, pipeline integration, community support. So that's the scoring part. I will discuss each tool and show you all these, at least in my opinion, how they score amongst each other. A short summary of the open source project. So since when it's available, the website, the repository, and in the top part you see some logos of programming languages or engines. that are being used, I try to map those tools. Let's look at the first tool. The first tool is SeleniumBase. So for SeleniumBase, I have made a quick install script. Let me show it real quick. So it installs Python pip and clones the repository here, goes into there, create a virtual environment, activate the virtual environment and do a pip install. And after that you can run the examples, but I will get to that later in the video. Run that script. Of course, I'll have these scripts available to you if you want to try it out for yourself. So as you can probably see, it's installing those dependencies. So alright, that should be okay now. Let me go into SeleniumBase myself. And you have here what you'll get out of the box is some folders with integrations and also some examples, and I will just run an example of the Swag Labs. So what you do is let me first activate the virtual environment. So source and then bin activate. Okay, I'm there, and a PyTest examples. Let's run the suite. You could run the test or you could run the suite. It's both fine. And now, because I don't have the Chrome driver, it complains about that. So what I could do is run it with --browser browser equals Firefox. So automatically it installs that Gecko driver for you and starts running the test. Yeah, so it says this test should fail, and indeed it fails. And you also have some nice logging right here, expecting t-shirt on top. It's not presented there because the user was not a valid user. So execution, installation, it's all fine. And if you want to have like a dashboard, you can also do it. Generates with --dashboard. It generates a dashboard HTML file. So this is the dashboard you see. So let's dive into the authoring of test cases. And for that, just gonna use Vim to look at that test. So this is the test. Open source demo and assert some elements here. So for example, if this is an assertion for the text, if we add not here, and if we run it again, it should give a failure. This is probably the step where it fails. Yes. So as you can see, timeout exception, no such element exception, and the message here was not presented after 6 seconds. Next part is the Jenkins job, and I adjusted the Swag Labs to test suite, so to have some more results, and also provide a --dashboard argument. You have the jobs, and I click on the build now to start building. I needed to tinker to get this to work because of the X virtual frame buffer. I will have these commands for Fedora in the description in the script. I put them there. After I installed that X virtual frame buffer, it worked okay, and I was able to run these tests without any problems. So this test container failure, and now I go to the test run. You see it here. And I want to show you the dashboard real quick in the workspace. And here's the dashboard HTML file. So you see 4 tests, 2 of them are failed. So logs for the field one. See here some files with error messages and also a very nice screenshot. So we have enough information to debug this test. So scoring of SeleniumBase, I think it's very easy to install. You can run these examples provided, and there are lots of examples provided. So you can really dig into that. It's fast to execute and easy to edit the cases. Logging and debugging, plenty of that to go around, and dashboarding. There's even some dashboard HTML integrated. Good feature. Pipeline, yeah, sure, you can integrate it in the pipeline. I did a little bit tinkering with Jenkins, but I managed to get it working quite easily. And community support is not a very well-known test automation solution at this moment. It's a little bit a shame, but yeah, I think with time it will definitely get more traction. At least I'm enthusiastic about it, and yeah, that's it for SeleniumBase. Moving to the next tool, Cerberus. So next one is Cerberus, and to tell you the truth, Cerberus is actually quite difficult to install. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I want to install it locally, so not one-click cloud. But I ended up creating a script for it, and I was able to install it. So this is the script, install Cerberus locally. Let me show it to you. And yeah, you have a Tomcat, Cerberus version, SSHD. That's actually not very necessary, but okay. MariaDB server, Java, and the development kit. You enable MariaDB, and you go to the downloads folder, and then you download the MariaDB Java client. It's a connector. And also download Tomcat standalone. And then Cerberus WAR file is downloaded, and it's moved to the web apps, and also the MariaDB Java client is moved to the Tomcat lib folder. Then I have a script for installing the database here, and afterwards, if all's well, then you should be able to, if you start Apache Tomcat, then you should be able to log in. Let me show you real quick how it looks. So that's actually the second script right there, startup. Of course, I will share these scripts with you for what it's worth, because they also have like the one-click cloud solution, and that works out of the box. Startup. So after you've set up Cerberus, you also, if you want to execute some web testing, you also need to have a Selenium grid. So this install script, yeah, it's also, or at least a startup script is also triggering some Selenium node and Selenium hub, and this should all be okay. Let me open the Cerberus website on localhost. Localhost, Tomcat running, so Cerberus login, admin, oops, admin. Admin.
Zo snel dat.
Okay, so Cerberus admin, and then you have here the web interface. Actually, it's quite a nice change to have a test automation tool with a nice web interface. Very cool effort that they do and try to really bring test automation to the masses, maybe even. So it has lots of features, and out of the box you get some example, and if you open it in the test script editor, you can add steps right here. Right, welcome to Cerberus website, and you can run it, run the test case. So if you click on it, run the test case, you need to select the test case. Obviously, you have like an environment, this prod, yeah, just a label of course, and then you have to choose a language. So no default selected, so you have to tick it every time. And then you have your robot settings. So actually that's where the Selenium hub comes into play. So I now have this locally, and yeah, if you can do a custom. So you can run the test on a device, and of course you have the grid here underlying. Let me, for example, check Firefox and run test case and see the result. If you click on it, it's going to a run viewer and it will start a browser. But actually this is as far as I have come on the local installation. But what I did is also click on the cloud solution and it worked out of the box similarly. Let me show it. So yeah, this is the trial, the own environment, available for 30 days. And everybody can just click on the link to get started, and they set up this cloud for you. It's very nice that they do it. So if you want to run, for example, a test, let's just pick a very simple one. This one, test case open URL. So as you can see, you have more examples here already. And now let's run the test case and see the results straight away. Okay. So now you can see that it's executing this test case. Open URL. Yeah, there you go. You now have the run test case, and a screenshot has been triggered, as you can see here. So the feature set is okay, but maybe as you can see, the speed of execution is not very fast. But then again, you have, of course, your execution details. So yeah, this is basically it for the tests. So yeah, nice feature set, very promising, but I think speed of execution and installation is not that easy, to be honest. So about the authoring of test cases, if you have a test case right here, and for example this very simple one, you can edit the test case. For example, if you want to add a step, you can click here, add a step. And you can import it from the library, but I'm looking at edit test case. I think this is here. Add action, click here. Describe action, testing. So you can select here from some standard functionality. So I think these are Selenium commands, mostly. So let's leave this do nothing. If you, for example, the green one here, if you add a plus right there, then you could do stuff on the page itself. For example, verify URL or verify title. And I don't know the title, but you can add a text here. Title text. Case sensitive, yes, no. Okay, if you are happy with this, then you can save the test case. And then you can run it again, of course. And probably this will, of course, this will fail on the title. Let's just see. So here, and then again, you have to like select that environment and select that language, and then you can run the test case. So as you can see, the title is failed, the check, so that's okay. Current title is this France, Meteo France is the weather, and it's not equal to title text. So I think it's very much okay. Then you can easily fix it, of course. If you look at the reports, you have here the executions. You have a nice report there. You can also set up some campaigns. But if you, whoop, no, this is like the dashboard, of course. Here you go. So the dashboard is indeed included. I think it's a nice dashboard, actually. So we covered all of the areas except for pipeline integration and community support. So in terms of support, of course, there's a commercial organization behind it, and you can buy support if you want. So support is managed properly in that regard. It's not very well known in the community yet, Cerberus. But yeah, they do make a lot of YouTube videos, and you can really, they have a user group, very open about that community, so it's very easy to engage in the community. So pipeline integration, have to investigate that. I come back to that later. Let's score Cerberus. So ease of installation, like I said, it's very complex to install it locally. It's a complete tool set you have to install, including a database. Examples provided, yeah, it's not a local installation, that's just one of them. But in the cloud solution there are more examples, of course. So speed of execution could be better. Altering of test cases, that's where I think Cerberus shines. It's really meant for that. So high score there. Login debugging is okay. Dashboarding and reporting is a good dashboard you see in the first page. Pipeline integration, they have their own API and they have Jenkins plugin. And community support is a very open community. You can visit the user groups, for example, and they also provide some commercial support, and it's not very well known yet in the community. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this goes. Let's move to the next one. The next one is Cypress. Installation and altering of test cases in Cypress. So let's first install npm, the node package manager. That is complete. Let's also install some dependencies for Linux, Fedora in this specific case. Also complete. And now let's install Cypress using npm. It's done. So let's get the path to the node modules. Cypress can be called using this command here. But let's put it on the path. Let's put the correct path right there, so we can call Cypress open. So the first time installing, it says it looks like the first time you install Cypress, and quite quickly you should have that IDE open, or that development environment for Cypress. So you can set various configurations right here if you want. And also the file opener preference, I set it to Vim. So if you click a test, it should run automatically, like you see here. Speed of execution, as you can see, is quite fast. It's also a very simple application, of course, but nonetheless, it's quick. Let's open it in the IDE, and as you may have seen, it's Vim. So let me open Vim. It's a terminal, of course. Now you have the test open, and you can easily make adjustments to your test. Of course, if you have IDE, it will be easier. So, new item, teach the cat how to test with Cypress. Let's save it, and then it should fail. Click on the test again, running. And if you're very fast, then you can see it's being added. So it's checking for a text with 3 words, and it didn't find, on that line it didn't find it. And yeah, that's why it failed. And you can easily do time traveling with your cursor and then see what has been done on that screen. So back in the test, you see here the check have length. This is very easy to read in terms of syntax. So if you would change it back to just 3 words, as you can see, all is passed now again. And here you see the actual text. That's it for running test cases and altering. So if you have Cypress running locally, then you could do command, give Cypress the command to run it and also record it. And then using a key, you can, let me grab the key real quick here. Using a key, you can push the results to a very nice Cypress dashboard. So if you would have continuous integration set up and you run the tests and you have a key set up, then when you start the test, it runs headless, and then this will take some time, but as a result, you will have a very nice dashboard presented to you. So that will take some time. Let me pause the recording. This has been completed after some time, and let's copy the link of the dashboard and open up a browser, and then we will see that dashboard that has been pushed. So there you go, logged in under my own user with the linked GitHub account, I think it is, and then you have the latest test results right there. Okay, very nice dashboard. Good overview, and you even have that video recorded for you. Let me open up the video. So there you go, automatically you have the video of the test that has been done. So very nice dashboard indeed, and very easy to integrate. Yeah, let's do the scoring of Cypress. I think it's very easy to install, and the examples provided are very easy to run. Just one click, very fast as well. Altering test cases is very much okay. The score is based on the Vim experience. If you use a full-featured IDE, then definitely you will have a better experience in editing test cases. Logging and debugging is very cool. Of course, you have the time travel feature, and yeah, it's very verbose. So good job there. Dashboarding, reporting, yeah, like I showed in the video, there's a very nice dashboard you see with one command. So it's very easy to integrate as well with the pipeline. And the community is also awesome, and yeah, you can get lots of help. And you see Cypress being used more and more for projects, so I will suspect that the community will keep growing in that aspect. It's very promising indeed. And that brings us to the next one. The next one is RobotFramework. Let's check out a RobotFramework and authoring of test cases, and also ease of installation. Let's open up a terminal window right here and get started. I will install it using pip. So, and let me start by cloning the web demo. Of course, I have the link to this web demo in the show notes. And create a virtual environment for web demo, and just easy pip install for all the dependencies. Activate it. And that should be enough for you to get started. So let's start the demo application. Using Python demo app, starts a server. And let's also run the robot tests. There you go, and this is running on the Firefox driver. It's just a simple test suite, and yeah, after some time it should pass. Let's open up the report. So this is a report, very nicely formatted HTML report. And you can also see the log. The log is containing more actions, what has been done. Okay, so I think very good features out of the box. And now let's open up a test using VSCodium. So the web demo is open, you see it on the left side, all the tests right there. So the first time you open it, you see it's formatted but no syntax highlighting. It prompts you that you could install a plugin, so let's choose the RobotFramework language server. Let's click install. That is installed. Go back to the tests again. Open up a test. Now you see that it's formatted. You can quickly also run and debug, as you can see right there. If you want to add a new line, then it's very easy to do. Just start typing away, and then you can see that it knows of the context of the test, and then you can adjust the test and alter the test real quick. So yeah, it's working in plain text is very nice. Yeah, you can create a high-level keywords, low-level keywords, and it's very easy, but that's more of an in-depth. And that's it for the authoring of test cases. So for the robot framework, combination with Jenkins. This is Jenkins, and let's add a new item right here. It's called Robot Framework. For demo purposes, freestyle project. Normally I would totally pick pipeline, but it's okay for now. Git, let's use a local repository. Home git web demo. So that's all fine. So for the build steps, execute shell. For the command, I've prepared a little something. So you saw those tests running already, and what I do now is paste it real quick. So I will install it, install the requirements, and then we'll run the Python demo app server in the background using NoHub, and then I will save that process ID. I will call robot, and then I will choose a variable browser Chrome. Okay, and then call the login tests. Login tests. Okay. Okay. So this is very simple pipeline, and let's first see if it runs. But before we click run, let's first double check if we have the web demo. Web demo is in there. Yeah, so this should work okay. Chrome driver, I've taken care of the Chrome driver as well. So that should run. Let's click the button. And as you can see, the browser is starting and it's running that login test. And what I also would like to see, of course, is reports. And for that, I think I already installed it. Is the plugin, and there's the robot framework. The robot framework plugin creates some nice test reports. So let's also add that as a step. Post build action, and the publish RobotFramework test results. I'm guessing it's the same directory. Okay, and then some percentages. 90. Let's save it. Let's build again. That has been done, and now you see also the button right here, robot results. Let's click on it. And then you see the nice report. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about scoring of RobotFramework. I think it's very easy to install, and if you find that web demo project, it's very easy to run those examples provided. Speed of execution is very much okay. It's fast enough. Authoring of test cases, so that's really personal for me. I like the keyword driven approach, and I also like to edit tests in plain text, so that's very appealing to me. But you also have some various IDEs like Ride, but yeah, for me just editing text is the way to go. Logging debugging is okay. Dashboarding reporting, some very nice dashboards, and also yeah, in Jenkins of course, you saw it. Pipeline integration, yeah, you could do it very easily. And then community support, if you search for RobotFramework, yeah, I think it's a solid community to be honest. But still, it's not an abundance of information to be honest, but still it's easy enough to get started. And also the documentation is quite good. And one thing to note that RobotFramework also has a RobotFramework Foundation. So yeah, that's it for RobotFramework. Let's move to the next one. Let's move to the next one. The next one is Cucumber-JVM. Cucumber-JVM is the Java-based tool. So let's first check if we have Java. We have it. And do we have the Java SDK? We don't have it, so let's install it. Java OpenJDK devel. So for the getting up and running, I'm actually gonna use a Cucumber Java skeleton. That's what I'll be using. Clone it. Okay, cd into there. Cucumber. And then it says Maven test. But it says Maven wrapper, so let's do that. So finally, after some time, it shows it's executing some tests. Okay. Yeah, so this looks okay. And then you see here that you can implement steps using the snippets below. So I'll show you that in the IDE. So let's open up IntelliJ and open up the skeleton. Some Maven projects. So after some time it should have loaded, and then yeah, it recommends a plugin to you. So Cucumber for Java, that's okay. Restart the IDE to activate the plugins. Alright, the test should be in source test resources. There you have that skeleton here. It's the belly feature. And what it said earlier, that these two ones, when and then, are not implemented in step definitions. There you saw a snippet of code. Let me run it again from the IntelliJ, and then you will see a similar result. So as you can see, that's the same error, and yeah, it's just a message saying that you need to implement these steps. So if you go into here, then you have the boilerplate already there. You can just copy and paste it right in there. And then it should resolve these step definitions. When, need to import it. Then import it. So if you run it now, then it should at least run the feature file. But yeah, you still haven't implemented a proper test because it's not testing anything, of course. Cucumber is just some means of doing BDD. So yeah, let's make it a little bit more interesting. To make it more interesting, I've prepared a little something, and I will add a new feature, and then I'll also add a REST service test to this project. Let's add a new file, and let's call this weather, because we Dutch people like to speak about the weather a lot. Feature, there you go. So what I'll basically be doing is playing around a little bit with the weather API. So the feature is called how's the weather not in Netherlands. The weather is always better outside of the Netherlands, of course. So given I'm in a city in Netherlands, when I check the current weather, the weather in a southern European country should be better. So sounds pretty straightforward, right? Let's run these again and get the snippet, and we copy paste the snippet to the step definitions. You can easily paste it and make a very simple implementation. And just to check, yes, that resolves okay. So what I'm going to do is use the Open Weather API. Of course, I will have this demo code for what it's worth in the show notes in the repository, but yeah. So basically, you could query in this API, for example, that's Paris. If you weather Paris, you send it, and then you will see the result that 4.36 degrees. In Paris, France. Let's check Amsterdam. .301, so that would be higher than Brussels. So yeah. But for example, if you would type Madrid 9.2. Madrid is higher than Amsterdam. So that's basically what this test will do. And I've prepared a little something for the step devs. I pasted a little bit of code in here, and as you can see, the URL of the Open Weather map. So if you run it, it will show hello FOSDEM, and then do the request using that nice syntax that REST API, REST Assured provides. So after that, you will store that temp right there, the current weather in the city you set here, and then compare it to that one. So that's basically it. So if you run the weather feature now, then so this has passed. If you would put, for example, let's put something where it's even colder. Copenhagen, for example, and that city right there, it should definitely fail. There you go. The next step will be the pipeline integration. So for the Jenkins integration, I've created a job here, very simple, and just running it Maven clean test. And when I click the build, give it some time. So there you go, test has passed, and we have a JSON file right there. And the JSON file in the target directory is used to render the Cucumber report. If we open a Cucumber report, that's a plugin, by the way. You will have this this nice report right here. All right, so that wraps it up for the Jenkins integration. Let's talk about scoring Cucumber-JVM. I think the installation, it's okay, but you need to have some Java experience, of course, to get this up and running. Examples provided. If you use that skeleton, you can run something, and then you need to know that what to do. So it's, yeah, you definitely need some kind of guide to follow along with to get started. But once it's up and running, it's okay, of course. Speed, because of Java, it's a little bit slower than Python or Node. Authoring of test cases, because I'm very familiar, this is a biased opinion. I think it's okay to edit those tests. Some could say that Java is quite verbose, but I do agree with that, but I'm very familiar with the language, so for me it's a biased opinion. Login debugging, it's okay. Dashboarding, as you saw, you have some various functionality for your dashboards and reports, so it's pretty good in that regard. Pipeline integration, can integrate it very easily, and also there's lots of community support out there. And also the company Smart Bear has taken over some support activities for Cucumber, and you can also do like a Cucumber Pro, but I mainly use the open source version, of course. That's it for the scoring. And that brings us to the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed the talk and I hope you enjoyed the demos. And I promise that I'll make it up to you in terms of that not showing the 5 that I was initially planning. What I can say about that, keep an eye on my YouTube channel. I will post a new video, a follow-up video for a new test automation tool every week. And I'll add the scoring and keep that story alive for the coming weeks. So yeah, be sure to check it out and enjoy your day. Bye bye.